Here's another Aussie competing for a UFC contract on Road to UFC, and we got him here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event. Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion. Not even backstage, we're literally outside. Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good at the Aussie MMA Instagram page and give us a bit of glow up because we're killing it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley, and today's guest is the current Eternal MMA featherweight champion and hopefully future UFC contract holder. It's Seb Szalay. He is competing in the Road to UFC tournament on May 22nd, 23rd. It's a sort of 8-man tournament, and over the course of however many months, he'll have 3 fights, and if he wins all those, he will pick up a UFC contract. Now, Seb Szalay I've known for many a year. He trains out of Freestyle MMA over in Windang with, of course, the great Alex Volkanovski and many other Australian MMA champions. And Seb's had a unique journey, basically sort of training out of a shed, literally, the Spud Shed. With Tony Galati. If you're not from WA, you don't know who that man is, but it's a bloody hilarious story. So stick around because it's very weird. Seb then, went on to train with Sawal the Hulk Palele, former UFC fighter, before sort of packing up everything and gambling on it all and heading on over to Freestyle MMA, which is well renowned as probably one of, if not the best MMA gym in Australia to chase his dreams. And, he wasn't exactly on the radar as much as, some of the other prospects you've seen, but he's sort of made himself undeniable, which has been pretty impressive. So it's good to finally chat to Seb. Known him for a very long time. Like I said, he's from Perth, and to see him sort of carve out his dream and his craft and make himself one of the best prospects this country has to offer, it's very exciting. So it's good to hear him talk about his matchups coming up and kind of what we can see from him. So I want to hear from our friends at Vex, and of course, our new friend, our gym partner at DCA. We're going to hear some lovely words from them, who are both guys are helping the show. Just keep it on trucking. Guys, if you need anything, Australian MMA _ send your questions, comments, whatever you want. Remember, like, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, do it all. We've got some big things coming. But guys, on the other side, it's a man fighting for a UFC contract. It's none other than Seb Szalay. And we'd like to take the time to thank our gym partner, DCA, the home of Australian MMA champion Anthony Drillich and aspiring athletes. If you'd like to know more, head to drillichcombatacademy.com. Ladies and gentlemen, finally joining me on the show, it's the Eternal MMA featherweight champion and almost nearly, maybe, possibly a UFC contract holder. Seb Szalay, mate, welcome.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it?
Oh, mate, it's been very, very difficult to tie you down. Harder to tie you down for an interview than in the cage. So, yeah.
We're finally doing it. So here we go.
It's how you, I feel like that's how you up your value. If I can't get you, I'm like, oh, I really want to get him.
That's it, man. Keep him coming. Keep him chasing.
I didn't even want an interview before that, but now I couldn't get it. And then I'm
Well, hey, we had trouble just setting this up now. So here we are. I was like, when we were setting this up, I was like, surely no. He's probably going to think I'm fucking not wanting to do this.
Well, it's quite funny too, because as a nice guy, as everyone knows you are, you go into a bit of a kill mode in training camp, don't you?
Yeah. I get zoned in, locked in, man.
Are you in that now?
Yeah, pretty much, man. I'm in my zone. That's why when you messaged me, I was like, we got to get a chat in, because like that, as I get closer to the fight, I'll be more like, okay, I'll do some podcasts here and there. But we've had to do it for a long time. We haven't done it, so it definitely had to be done.
What changes about you in fight camp? Does your actual demeanor sort of outside of training change as well? Are you short with your friends and family?
Yeah, a little bit, man. Once I'm in my fight mode, I'm zoned in. I'm just on a mission, a man on a mission, and pretty much from there, I'm just locked in. Yeah, you could say that.
Now, it was kind of officially sort of dropped. UFC Thailand announced, I don't know if our UFC has, but it says you're taking on Ahejang Alinua. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, you did better than me pronouncing that probably. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Nice. And have you known your opponent? Let's go back a step. When did you first hear about the Road to UFC sort of tournament and your involvement in it?
I heard actually beginning of this year, they said potentially they're going to get some athletes, bring them together, and get selected for the Road to UFC. And my name was thrown out there from a manager and that, and I was just like, yep, name's thrown out. We'll see what happens. And then after my last fight with Taser, I was hoping to get a call up or somewhat. So I was just waiting here and there, heard possibly that I could potentially get a shot here. So I was just waiting. And then, got told about probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago before it kind of got announced that I got selected. And then, I was in Perth when I was with you guys. I saw your domination.
Oh yeah.
I think it was, I don't know how many weeks ago that is now, but I literally found out a day before the domination event that possibly that it was all green light, good to go. And then I just was waiting for it to be announced or contracts, but then they actually just announced it online. I didn't even think they were meant to properly announce online, and then it came about, and then I was like, okay, that's a sure thing. Then got selected.
Do you get nervous when you see me a day after news you have to keep it to yourself?
Mate, even when we were chatting, I was like, I got to be careful, because if I fucking say something to you, you're a shit stirrer, so I got to be careful with you. So, no, that's why, even then, for me particularly as well, I need to see, not even with you, generally everyone, when it's like that, once I see it, contract, written, done deal, that's when I'm like good to go. I don't like to just shoot off. I mean, I got told the news, but I was like, hey, until I see it's fully signed and then we're good to go, that's when, it's on.
How did you were talking about your Taser fight, of course, against Taser Malone, Eternal Sydney, which had Hunter Campbell in the crowd as well from the UFC's right up there. What was there pressure? Did you know he was going to be in the crowd? And then how did you feel after that fight?
I found out, it was at the back, and then they were talking, a few people were talking, they were saying that, Hunter Campbell was going to be there. So, and I had a feeling they were going to be there anyways. They're usually there they've been there a few times now, the UFC in Sydney and other ones in Perth. So I knew what the stakes were and everything like that. So the way I treated it, man, was like, okay, this is my opportunity, make or break, let's do it, I'll go out there, do my best, do my thing, and then leave it to what happens, and then after the fight, I did have a chat with him, like we spoke as well, and it was all positive. So I knew from there, it's opportunity you get when there's guys there. You just gotta show up, and that's what it is.
Does it feel weird that people talk about age and you're in the prime of your life, and in any other sport you're doing pretty well, but for some reason, because there's so many 20-year-olds going around knocking people out, it feels like 31, 32 is old now?
Well, hey, that's the thing. Like 31, this is the best I've ever felt my age. That's the best I've ever felt. So yeah, look, I think as well nowadays you'll see a lot of guys who are fighting like around my age, and that we're getting smarter. You do see the young guys coming through. They're doing really well, but you get these guys who are a bit older, and a bit smarter, how they approach the game, how they approach their training, how they approach their fights. You get more guys like us coming through now. I think just as the sport evolves and gets bigger, and like just evolving, you're going to see more athletes going a little bit longer. I mean, look at Volk, past 30, turning 36, I believe. Like, he's obviously an exception because he's a freak of nature a little bit. But saying that, like, you will get athletes who are smarter now and know how to prolong that.
How did you feel? Obviously, you mentioned Volk. You've slowly climbed up, and before you were just sort of some casual drop in at Freestyle, and you've slowly made your way into like UFC countdown videos and all that sort of stuff, being main training partners. Like, how does it feel to not only be on that journey, but then obviously see him accomplish what he accomplished?
Oh man, it's awesome. Just it helps you, it motivates you. Everything. Being around someone like that, and seeing what he does, especially coming from what he, diversity he come through. It's just good being around someone like that and seeing the journey. I've been there for a while now, and living over here in Sydney, and seeing just everything how he evolves, and especially everyone else. The training, everything. So it just motivates me. Like I said, 31. It's the best I've ever felt. I'm ready, man. I'm feeling good. I know what I need to do. Yeah, I'm happy. So that's good.
Does he allow you to talk to him after training, or is he like, go away?
He's probably better than me. Nah, he's good. He's good. Volk's chill as, man. He's good.
What was the main reason of heading over? Because you had a bit of a unique journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I first knew you of training with Soa the Hulk, just
Yep.
in an alleyway.
That goes a while back. Yeah, Spud Shed. It goes Spud Shed.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
how did it sort of your entire journey from sort of being over in Perth to, I guess, moving your entire life over to Windang? Like, why kind of, can you take us through that journey and why you ended up at Freestyle?
Yeah, like when I was training with Soa, and then after with Soa and that, we needed more training partners. So I went to Wolves Den. So I was actually at Wolves Den under those guys. And then I got the opportunity from my managers and people I was working with to go train over here in Freestyle. So yeah, that's when I'd be popping in to Freestyle and training with them. And, you know, just being around the crew here as I was evolving and getting, you know, going through a martial arts career. I just really enjoyed training here in Freestyle. You know, I liked the group of people. Everyone was awesome. Getting high caliber training partners. Everything was just, I don't know, it was just pointing out to that direction to go. The way I was evolving and going, it just seemed like the right direction to go and begin here. And just, I knew this was going to make me better. I basically just packed up everything, and then I just came on over, you know, and ever since then I've been happy. And yeah, it's been the best decision I've ever made.
How did you end up starting training with Soa Palele?
It was actually I was competing in karate, so that's when I was doing karate, and I had a break from karate and I wanted to do MMA. And I was just training him, and through a few mates who actually, through Spud Shed guys, they were like, come down then to the Spud Shed and we'll do some training with Sola and everything like that. And then I jumped in the round with a few guys who were fighting, got to spar, and Sola was like, fuck, this guy's pretty good. And then, you know, he kind of just drew me in a bit more. And I always wanted to fight anyway, so it just kind of begun there.
Do you mean like Tony Gallardi's Spud Shed?
Yeah. So we were training out of Tony Gallardi's Spud Shed. He has a gym in the facility. That's where I started.
What? How?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So Soa, he's like he works very closely with the Spud Shed and the Gallardis. And it's quite shocking. No one expects this. So their factory, where they actually had their whole facility, their main office building down in Coburn, you walk into the main office area. There's offices everywhere, you know, this and that. And then you go to the back, and it's a full reinforced shed with a boxing ring, MMA cage, gym set up, everything. And that's where Soul would run things there. And he would invite fighters down, and we used to train through there.
And were you just shopping one day and found yourself out the back? Like, how did you walk through the door?
No, I got invited. I got invited to mates. Yeah, they just told me to come down because I always wanted to fight, but my style. This was years ago when I first started going and trying to find an MMA gym. As you know, my style was very unique. I had that very karate style, so I would go to a lot of kickboxing places and gyms, and a lot of people actually didn't want me to train there. They wouldn't put me in there to train because I was so different the way I fought and I trained. So it was hard for me to actually kind of find at that point somewhere to train with someone. And then Soa kind of just brought me in, and then from there, just kind of, you know, that relationship evolved where he was just like, yep, you want to fight? Let's do it. And we went from there. It's kind of crazy to think about now. Yeah.
That is wild. Do you know Mr. Gallardi? Like, would he recognize him?
Yeah. I see him all the time. Yeah. And you know what? And that's not a joke. He wears the blue singlet and the short shorts, even when he's training, because he would be doing training with Soa. So we're always seeing that. I know his sons very well, like they're around my age. And yeah, you see him. He wears the same clothes every day, training, everything. He looks the same.
Oh, that's great. I'd fit in well there because I spar like a potato. So he would be.
There you go. We'll tee something up there.
So, like, I'll just quickly fill everyone in. Like, Tony Gallardi is like a sort of pop culture icon. He's just a dude that used to sell potatoes. Basically, took on the potato sort of farmer union or something, and just giving us cheap fruit and vegetable. And he's become a superstar. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. They're actually one of my sponsors. They help me out even now.
Really?
Yeah. His sons and I'm good mates with his sons, and they actually help me out. They help sponsor me as well.
Is there anything like that in New South Wales?
Nah, man. I had to. Actually, there's nothing like that. When I brought it up to my girlfriend about the Spud Shed, and she's like, what the fuck is this spud shed? Like Sydney people are just like, what is it? I'm like, trust me, this is a pretty big deal in Perth. Everyone knows who he is.
Oh, mate, that's great. And when did you? Because I feel like you being signed with Ruby Sports was, to me, it was a bit random. Like you didn't see a lot of people, especially at your level, so soon from what kind of felt like WA at the time, signing with them. So how did that relationship come about?
Signing with who?
Sorry, Ginnon. Did I say I said Ruby, didn't I?
Yeah. No,
unless I broke some news.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ginnon. Yeah. How did that come about?
So it originally it started off through one of the guys who worked close with Zen, my manager from Guinea. He had guys under him who were working with him, and they were beginning to like work under him and looking for athletes. And I met one of the guys who worked through them in at a time when I was doing a camp in aka Thailand when I was under Soa, and I kept in contact with them, and then they had like pretty much when I turned pro. They wanted me to sign he wanted me to work with him, and then from after that I managed to work with Zen and the rest of the guys. So it kind of just evolved through just people we know, and then I just signed them with them.
Is it weird sort of training with other guys who have different managers and all that sort of stuff? Does it ever become an issue?
Not really, man. I don't think so. As long, I always believe for me particularly, I don't care if someone's got a different manager or what, it doesn't bother me. Also, that's why I like to keep, one side of it, everyone has your managers and everyone has their managers, to me, it doesn't matter.
Are you, at this stage of your career, is having a manager sort of now starting to seem super valuable? Because I feel like some people critique it when you're 1-0 when you've got a manager. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. When now is it really starting to make sense?
Yeah, dude, it does, man. Especially getting to Road UFC, how much paperwork and things you got to do now, things like that. And if you're not really clued on with certain things, what you're reading to contracts and things like that, and just generally all that stuff, if you never had any exposure to it, it can be, for some people, you just be like, you just sign it and they don't even know. So yeah, in my opinion, that's why I say to people, obviously you focus on your fighting, but it's always good once you get to a bit higher level there, you need your managers and stuff like that. They help so much.
Now, do you like the Road to UFC format? Would you have preferred, and I know you're not going to say this, but would you prefer to have go through Dana White Contender Series? Because that's kind of what everyone was aiming for. Yeah. No one really knew that we could do the Road to UFC path. So is that what you wanted, or are you liking this Road to UFC opportunity?
For me, man, in the end, it's an opportunity. I'm happy with whatever. As long as I get under that UFC name there and just prove that I get the opportunity to prove where I need to be because I'm the best, that's fine by me. Obviously, Dana White Contender Series is awesome. I think a lot of us would love Dana White Contender Series. I mean, who wouldn't? It's such a cool concept, and the whole thing about it does have that thing about it. But in the end, for me, it's just like, okay, I've got an opportunity. As long as I got an opportunity where I can prove and just show, that's fine with me.
And besides, you can have 3 boring fights and still get a contract. Where in Dana White Contender Series, you might not. So.
Well, yeah, even this one as well. Yeah, exactly. Fuck, it's one and done. Even if you win, look at there's that guy who fought like 3 times and he's won 3 fights, and then they were just like, okay, I guess we'll sign him now. It's just like, fuck. But there's also like in this one, you can have even if you lose, you can be brought back. You can there's multiple opportunity if they like you and stuff like that. I think there's been actually some cases where some people. I think it was Wei Ling when the lady Amina fought. She had 1 fight and she got signed straight away to the UFC. So I think there's very different ways you can go with it. So it's pretty cool, Yeah.
Do you have any pressure to be exciting? I mean, you are exciting, but people and karate guys get a bad rap sometimes of being like point fighting type thing. Do you cop any of that, and kind of? Do you sort of, in your journey of your style, do you feel pressure to kind of knock guys out?
Well, look, man, my last couple of fights, I've been looking for the finish. I've had some tough fights, like they ended up being, tougher than what I entirely expected that. But look, again, it's just as long as I'm winning, that's good. But yes, I do want to show, and I know there's ability where I can show that those things and I can get those finishes. They're there. I just need to give myself some more time and then just keep proving myself and doing my thing. As long as I'm winning, I'm winning. You know, in the end, it is what it is. But yeah, especially for this next fight coming into this, I really want to, you know, make a big statement. That's my plan.
And I have to ask you, man, but did the sort of talk of, you know, George Mangos and yourself, did that bother you at any stage?
Which part? What do you mean?
That your names were constantly put together, you know, you did something wrong, or yeah.
Look, man, it's going to happen, you know, fuck. That's the thing. To me, you know, it's part of it. I get it, you know, because you got a top guy in Hex, you got a top guy here in Eternal, and people are going to throw names here and do this, do that, and it's just a bit of fun and stuff like that. To me, I don't let it bother me. I don't care, man. Like, you know, in the end, you know, like I said before, I'd love to have fought George, and but at the moment, you know, he's got contender, I've got road. You know, never say never. Something could happen down the road. You never know. So I always say that I'm always open. But yeah, he's on his journey. I'm on my journey at the moment. But yeah, it's all good.
Are you going to do the Quillan Sourkill Tom Nolan thing where now that you guys are kind of nearly both in, you'll just train together?
We'll see. We'll see what happens. That's the thing. It would have been, I've had so many people, like you said, come up to me all the time, like, oh man, you and George. And I'm just like, oh, man, you know, I would love to have fought George. You know, it would have been a killer fight. I know a lot of people would love to see that, but you know, with the situations like with Hex and Eternal and these guys, and it's a shame you can't make things work a little bit.
Is it weird being a part of freestyle and having so many people drop in? So therefore, it's very hard on the regional scene to almost get fights because now you're friends with all of them?
Yeah, that's the thing. Once you start getting to this level and a lot of people start training, everyone starts training together and stuff like that. And then you hear things behind the scenes where some people, you know, I won't say names and particularly things like that, but a lot of people will be like, you know, you'll hear whispers that they don't want to fight this guy, or they know that guy, they've trained with that guy, you know, that person maybe got a little bit better than them in the training room. So you do hear a bit of that. And the thing is, without people, some people are close as well in that sense, and they don't want to fight each other. I guess, you know, it becomes in Australia, once we get to this level where we're all like in this little area here, it gets harder. It does get more difficult, you know, because like even for me, if I was fighting next on Eternal, I mean, I was thinking about it. If I didn't get this opportunity, I was like, who am I going to fight at the moment? I don't even know. Like, you know, we'll say they would have to bring in an international fighter or something. But yeah, that's what I think.
And I think technically you are still the Eternal MMA featherweight champion until, you know, and they're going to run interims and that. Do you think that's because do you think that's because Eternal doesn't believe in you?
Bastards. No. They said like that. They said I'm still champ and I mean I still got the belt. They're like, until you're officially signed, then that's when the belt will be taken off for you. So yeah. That's what they say.
It's a weird situation though, in the sense I think it's really cool because you get to really fly the flag too. Like you get to be like almost like the whole Mortal Kombat style. Like, you know what I mean? You're that champion, which I actually think is really cool. But is it weird to be so close to the UFC and everyone's? You probably already had a few congratulations, and you're like, no, I'm not yet.
No.
But also, it is like when you were 1-0, you would have dreamed for an opportunity like this, but you haven't made it. But you have. Yeah,
it's funny because I've had people message me and they're just like, "Oh, mate, you're in the UFC." And I'm like, "No, not yet. I got this in front of me." But I think people just see UFC, and they're just like, "You're in, mate. That's it." So yeah, you know, it is like that. You're gonna get that, especially just I think people as soon as they see that they're branding that name, they just straight away think like, "Oh, mate, you're in the UFC." It's like, nah, it's a little bit different. That's why a lot of people, even the road, they ask like, "What exactly? How does that work?" So you get a few of them.
Did you even go, yes? Like, did you do a celebration at all? Because it's like, you don't want to get, because this is the problem that I've talked to a lot of guys is you get signed, you don't celebrate because you're going to get ranked. Then you get ranked, you don't celebrate. You're going to get the title, you don't celebrate. Like, it's like, did it feel like you still want to smell the roses along the way? Yeah,
look, to me, just from where I again, I don't know, we may have spoken about this earlier, from where I appreciate whatever I can get the opportunity just to showcase what I'm doing and even get that chance to do that. That makes me happy, you know, and I'll take that in as much as I can. Because from years ago, I had a couple of health complications and I had things. That's why I was out for a little while. So that's why I had a little bit of a gap where I was out. So, and at that point, I wasn't even maybe going to even come back. I had some like pretty bad things happen when I did some weight cuts. So to me to come back and to get where I'm at now and even get this opportunity, I'm happy. You know, for me, it's just like, fuck yeah, I got an opportunity right now. I get to show why I'm here, and I like, you know, I'm very confident. I believe that it's my time. So for me, I just, yeah, obviously you take in the roses, you smell it, but you know, there's a job at hand still. So you just always got to keep that in mind as well.
Are those health complications well behind you, or do you have to monitor that stuff?
It's pretty much all good. I'm all good now after like I've had all these fights, my last 4 or 5 fights, and nothing has happened. So everything's been sweet, no problems at all. It was due to some weight cutting issues, and it really messed up my kidney and liver, and had some pretty serious stuff. That's when I had to pull out of my But it was my first fight when I came here out of freestyle. That's when I had to pull out of.
You went to Bantam, didn't you?
I was at Bantam, yeah.
That'll do it.
I fought lightweight, featherweight, and bantamweight.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. All right. Well, as you prep up and gear up for this fight, I guess I'll kind of leave it with one thing. After it's all said and done, how does Seb Szalay want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
Look, you know, for me, it's just being what a true martial artist is. That's what I want to leave behind. You know, that just a true martial artist. What he done, he works hard, he trains hard, he goes out, does his thing, gets the job done, come home, and you're off and doing it again. Yeah, that's just what I want to be remembered by as someone who was a martial artist.
We'll do it for the Spud Shed and do it for us.
Hell yeah.
You're the best, man. Thank you so much for taking the time, and yeah, I'll see you in another couple of years when we do one.
We'll do another one after my next fight when I win, all right? How's that sound?
Deal. You're the best, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Vex MMA has officially teamed up with PRP Global, and their brand new website is now live. Head over to Vex MMA to check out their latest gear, perfect for fighters and fans alike. Whether you're stepping into the cage or just repping the lifestyle, Vex MMA has you covered.